All right, we'll get back to the TPTs in a minute, but as mentioned, we're checking up on the head coach for Cowboy basketball. He just came off the road recruiting and got a lot of things going on right now. Mike Boynton. And Coach, how are you?
I am doing terrific. It's one of my favorite days. You guys always hear about
Oh,
my least favorite days with all these fraudulent holidays you talk about in the media room. But one of my favorite days should be a national holiday. It's opening day of baseball season.
I was gonna say happy opening day.
The,
Your Yankees and my Cubs are on national TV this afternoon. So,
man, first
yep.
the first day of the NCAA tournament. Well, first 2 days of the NCAA tournament. Thursday, Friday should be national holiday, and opening day of baseball should be national holiday. I'd
You
be
you
I'd be
just
willing to
brought
work an extra. I'd be willing to work an extra Saturday, even though I do that anyway, to have some of these days.
you just mentioned the other potential national holiday, which I think by far unofficially is, because I think people have documented how work production in the United States goes down on the first 2 days of the NCAA basketball tournament. Did you say anything to your kids? And I know you were busy on the road, you're doing recruiting and all that, but I mean, and you don't want to punish. There's no reason to punish your guys. They fought like crazy this year. I think they made Oklahoma State fans extremely proud of what they did under the circumstances. Had some big wins. Had a great run on the one team that is still playing from the Big 12 conference out in Lubbock, which was, I mean, that was an unbelievable performance. That was fun to watch. Did you want your guys watching wall to wall basketball on that Thursday and Friday and say, "Oh man, we need to be there"? I mean, or does it matter? Did it matter to you?
It does matter. I want our guys to. And I didn't punish them. I didn't force them to watch it. But I certainly asked them when I met with them the Sunday following, or the Sunday of the first weekend, um,
Right.
if they had watched, and most of them had, and I wanted them to keep that in mind, how I felt not being a part of that, because in my mind, it is the best sporting event in all of sports, is the NCAA tournament. And I was talking to some young men yesterday about watching it, and they were asking about the experience. I've been there as a player and a coach, and the lights are brighter, the floors are a little bit cleaner, the air smells a little different. It's just a different deal, and the excitement and everything that goes with it is truly amazing. And I certainly want our program to have the expectation to be playing not only that weekend, last weekend, but also starting this weekend, and advancing in the event, and competing at the very, very highest level of college basketball. So I want our guys to feel like the disappointment that I felt that we haven't been a part of it, and but also let us use it as a reminder as we work this season, when we're a little sore, or when we don't want to touch that line, or when we don't want to stay 15 minutes after practice. That all right, we know if we don't give everything we have, and do everything we can to achieve our ultimate goals, then we'll have another disappointing end, and we want to do all that we can to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, interesting game so far. So tonight Texas Tech plays Michigan, and I'm certainly rooting for Tech to carry the Big 12 banner a little further. Just about everybody's bracket was almost wrecked last Sunday, and I got to admit, that was one heck of a game to sit there and watch. I didn't have a dog in the hunt. I guess, I mean, yeah, I got Duke going into the Final Four, but I mean, my bracket right now is already in the family bracket contest. Even the dog is ahead of me, which is really bothering me. But what a game! Did you have a chance to see that Duke Central Florida battle? I mean, that was incredible to watch.
Yeah, did we actually? We were finishing up a team meeting in the last 4 minutes or so. We're on in our little lounge area, so we all sat there and watched it together. It's what you get, the intensity of the unexpected or the unknown, or the surprise. Certainly, Central Florida had a great season, and we're just you talk about how fine a line it is between winning and losing. Um, And unfortunately, it's how everyone's judged, right? If Johnny Dawkins' kid just tips that ball a little bit softer and it rolls in, and now all of a sudden, the same guy is viewed completely different because the ball just bounced a couple inches one way or the other. Um, and what's the reality of everything? No different than when you're on the other side, get those glorious celebrations. But it's a great event. Some of the games have been uh, not competitive, but I think this weekend you got some of the best matchups you could hope for. I think the North Carolina um, matchup with Auburn going to be a really, really exciting, high-paced offensive battle. Tech and Michigan will probably be more of a defensive chess match. But all really good matchups and games to look forward to watching.
Who's your closest friend in the coaching community that's still involved?
I've got a good friendship with Chris Beard. I'm really, really Coach Williams through Coach Vogel, who coached me, is kind of a mentor. Um, but I know a lot of these guys. Kelvin Sampson, I've gotten to become good friends with over the last 2 years. We obviously competed, had a really competitive game against his team earlier this year. So it varies. Some of the other guys I don't know as well. I don't know John Beeline that well at all. Don't really know Bruce Pearl very well. So it's a mix. Dana Altman and I were on a trip together last summer and got to spend some time getting to know him and his wife and how he works and all those things. He obviously has some ties in this area, having been at K-State and Creighton and tremendous basketball coach. But most of my closest friends in the business, and probably my closest one, is Mike Young at Wofford, are no longer playing. So look forward to maybe catching up with some of those guys next week in Minneapolis.
Yeah, they had a great season too. All right, there's a lot of things you can't comment on because of NCAA rules. I will just say this in a general statement: we've seen some things break that could benefit the way they've broke. They could benefit the Cowboys. But I was at in fact, I missed one of your games being over at the Maybe Center to watch the Boone Twins win their third straight state championship. Boy, I'm telling you, Keelan has really come along and developed as a player. It's almost hard to tell which one of those Boones is going to flourish, and hopefully they just flourish together and they're both equally as brilliant. But they win another state championship. Uh, you get another one of your guards, the young man from Beaufort, Georgia, that's related to you, collects a state championship. Man, I read about that game. What a fantastic effort that was. And then Avery Anderson down in Justin Northwest goes deep into the Texas high school playoffs, and it's really hard to win something down there because of just how many schools and how big the playoffs are. But I made this comment to the audience: the guys you've already signed are not only terrific players. This is not only a you know highly regarded top recruiting class in the country, but these guys are all coming in winners, and that makes a difference too, doesn't it?
It's a huge, huge deal. We try to conscientiously identify guys who have had high levels of team success in their sport. We obviously want to recruit guys who have individual talent, who have athleticism, who can really shoot, who can rebound or block shots. When you combine that with guys who have won because it takes a certain level of care and work ethic and commitment and sacrifice to win at the highest level. So Avery Anderson, for example, he played twice deep in the state playoffs in Texas. So he didn't ultimately get the job done, but he had to almost carry his team to the state championship. And you got to win like 7 games in Texas to win it all. I think the Keelan and Caleb have combined to win like 7 games to win 3 state championships in Oklahoma and the state playoffs. So, but those guys just have a different understanding when you talk to them when they get on campus about what it takes to have success. Now, they all have to get stronger. They have to adjust to the level of physicality at the collegiate basketball level. They have to understand that don't get days off, that you have to always be trying to figure out a way to get better. But that they have a winning part of their DNA that they won't be distracted by some of the demands that we make on their time, that we make on what it takes to be a really good player. So we're really excited about all four of those young men. We are certain to add a couple more. We're going to try to recruit other guys who have won, but we're also going to try to add pieces and put a puzzle together that can really fit over the long term and give us a chance to have sustained success over the next several years.
Well, I don't want to keep you long. I know you've got you got Yankees to cheer for, but more than that, I know you've got a busy weekend ahead as well, and the recruiting never stops. And I wouldn't even want to see your itinerary. I can only guess what it's been. But
Here's what I say about it: it's worth it.
well, and I know this: there is nobody more hungry for success in this program. And let me underline this. I still think this program this year was successful in this regard. You had a lot of good kids give everything they had, never quit. You learn a lot of lessons when you got adversity thrown in your face, and it was thrown in the face. And they still are good student athletes. I've seen them with like coaches versus cancer and the way they handle themselves as people with other people that they can make their day better. So I love seeing that. But the success I know that you and they really yearn for is that success to get to the highest level in the Big 12, to get into the NCAA tournament. That's going to be another piece to the puzzle. But I still consider what this program's accomplishing on a daily basis successful.
Yeah, I would say it this
Am I
way.
being too
I think
Pollyanna?
I think we're still moving the ball in the right direction. Certainly, there were some setbacks. You look at the record; it's not indicative of what we want it to be. But we're not going to skip steps. We're not going to sacrifice for short term, winning 4 or 5 more games, and really not put ourselves in a position that over time. What I want is in 3 years we have a top 10 recruiting class, and everybody understands what the expectation is when they walk through the door. And you do that by making sure you set those standards early, and you make sure everybody in the organization understands what those expectations are. And so no matter how talented you are or where you're coming from or what the expectations you have for your personal success, it's all going to happen within what we do as a team and program. And that all the Oklahoma State fans would be very proud of the kids that we put out on the court that represent not only school but them as well.
And I'll end it with this. You don't even have to comment. At the end, I know individual stuff is not supposed to be that important, but Steven will tell you. I called him on Sunday, I think, when it came out, and I said, "You've got to be kidding me that you're and Isaac, neither one made the all freshman team, that you're leading the Big 12 in shot blocks, didn't make the all defensive team." Though, and you know what, Coach? Those guys, the Big 12 coaches are going to get to enjoy those guys for hopefully 3 more years. And with the way they developed at the end, you're and Isaac, they truly were not freshmen at the end. So I know you got to be happy with the way they developed during the course of
Absolutely.
this.
Can't wait to get those guys and combine them with the class we got coming in. And the guys will add this spring for sure, and just give ourselves a true chance to go out there with a full roster and make sure our staff is doing everything we can to prepare these kids to go out and compete. And I believe that success is just around the corner. It's going to be a lot of times to celebrate here in Stillwater. So I would encourage people who haven't gotten involved from a ticketing standpoint or anything like that, don't wait too long because soon it'll be hard. It'll be a tough ticket to find, and there'll be a lot of great moments to celebrate inside Gallagher Arena.
Well, happy opening day, and then good hunting the rest of the way, leading to that final signing day.
Thanks a lot, Robert. I appreciate you having me.